All right. I believe you are live. That took a little bit longer than I expected. I had to do some minor tweaks before I began the live stream. Of course, I'm not the most technically proficient individual, so that explains that explains things. Anyway, I just hopped on really quickly. I'm not gonna take a lot of time during this live stream, but I figured, like everyone else, I'd issue some commentary for what it's worth on the recent spate of Supreme Court decisions. It's the last day, obviously, so the decision on Dobbs upholding the ban on abortions, I believe after 18 weeks or 15 weeks in Mississippi, and the concurrent repeal of Roe v. Wade. It was obvious that those were going to happen today. And it was anticlimactic because some vengeful Supreme Court clerk obviously disclosed details of Justice Alito's majority opinion. And there were a couple of interesting things about this. One of them being that Roberts concurred in the repeal of Mississippi's ban in the Dobbs decision, and he dissented in the broader repeal of Roe v. Wade and Casey versus Planned Parenthood, which was the last major Supreme Court case that we had an opportunity to overturn Roe. And of course, Sandra Day O'Connor, who was basically an affirmative action appointee by President Reagan, she ensured that for the next for the better part of the next 3.5 decades, Roe would be the law of the land, and essentially unfettered abortion would continue apace. So that illustrates the importance of Supreme Court choices, although I don't know if it's the sole determinant of someone's vote, but when people spend so much money lobbying around these issues and so much money funding presidents who can appoint certain justices who reflect their views, they're sort of super legislators. That wasn't the original intention of the Supreme Court, but that's what they've become. And because Donald Trump appointed Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, whatever their other flaws, they made the right decision in this case. And they made the right decision in the guns case, the case that invalidated New York's archaic, century-old, basically centuries-old violation of the Second Amendment. And I was passing by the newsstand today, and I saw these headlines. New York's 100. They're trying to make it seem like the fact that this law has existed for over a century means it's necessarily good, which obviously this is a logical fallacy. There are plenty of laws that have existed for many, many years, and even edicts like Roe, which are horrible law, even regardless of the outcome, the pragmatic results, the legal underpinnings are fatally flawed. And I pointed this out on Twitter yesterday when the gun case was decided. When the gun case was decided, I pointed out that this law was actually enacted by a literal, winged infinity, true. It was enacted by a literal criminal in New York, in the New York State Legislature, the Sullivan law, at the behest of organized crime. Now, he wasn't just a criminal because he was a Democrat. He was a criminal because he was a mobster. And it's billed as some sort of crime enforcement measure, which is ridiculous. Hey, Richard. which is ridiculous. And in order to understand why it's so ridiculous, you have to think of the modern Democratic Party. When have they ever pursued a policy of being tough on actual criminals, say people who are committing violent crimes? Now, I'm not talking about January 16th protesters, but violent criminals. It's never been the case, and that's just that's just the way it is. But I'm glad that these two decisions were issued. I'm glad that abortion is no longer states no longer have carte blanche to well, they can if they're controlled by people who are enthralled to bow. They can they can make abortion legal, but states are no longer prohibited from enacting abortion bans. So this was a good day, all things considered. See you next time.